outside, and we haven't heard of anything since.
Just to reset for everyone here, there's no classes. They're canceled for the evening. Police, they're continuing to investigate. Now, to reset for everyone, this call, it came in at approximately 3:43 in the afternoon earlier today. Officers who were assigned to the districts in South Boston and Dorchester, they responded to a report of shots fired in the area of the UMass Boston campus, and multiple units responded. But again, these are all unconfirmed here. We just heard a few moments ago, Amelia was interviewing two girls there. We're bringing back our Sue O'Connell in right now. I wanted to ask you this question, Sue. Those two girls that Amelia was speaking with, one of them spoke about how there is an Instagram group chat with students who are on campus there, and said that there was an unconfirmed report of a shooting on campus there, right? Mm-hmm. Where does social media play in all of this right now, with what we've seen over the last 24 hours, with what happened in Colorado, with what happened in Utah, and now with what has happened here at UMass Boston? What is the role of social media here?
Well, I would also add to that, Colton, that UMass Boston isn't the only school that was on lockdown today. Across the country, HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, there was a nationwide lockdown, 5 of them, 5 black colleges locked down campuses with shelters in place. They had credible threats. There's Alabama State University, Clark Atlanta College, Hampton University, Southern University, and Virginia State University were among the colleges today that were in lockdown mode due to threats with canceled classes. And now here we are at UMass Boston. As soon as those nationwide lockdowns lifted on the HBCUs, this happened. And you know, social media on one hand is very helpful. Many students, you know, may not have gotten the email, might not have gotten the alert, but they're certainly on Instagram, and they saw that. And I think the positive part of this is they can share the trauma and the frightening experience that they're having, because, you know, we talked about this a little earlier. Even if nothing has happened here, and this is a cautious reaction, these young adults have gone through a traumatic experience, and we'll be celebrating that no one was hurt, I hope, but the emotional toll of this is going to be quite a bit, especially, as the student said earlier to John, we had the UMass Lowell lockdown September.
All right, Sue, we do want to interrupt you because we just got some breaking news. UMass just releasing the all clear there on campus after that unconfirmed shooting report. So again, all clear on the UMass Boston campus. So that is the good news.
Yes, Sue, let's pick back up where we were in this conversation about the role of social media in all of this, and what our young people are experiencing, right? Priscilla made the point earlier that these lockdown drills, they start very early in America. They start in kindergarten.
So the good news is that there will be communities of people who can share their experience today, not just at UMass Boston, but at the HBCUs nationwide, and find some common connection and some support. The bad news is that there's a whole bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers who are going to see this content, as they should. It's news and it's happening. But we now normalize this, right? It's normal to have first graders learn how to hide in a closet, and it's normal to have a police response of this nature for a threat because you have to do it. And it's normal to have 2 of our prestigious state universities, their campuses already have two lockdowns, and it's only September 11th. They've only been in school for 2 weeks. So social media will both bring folks together on this, and it will unfortunately also, I think, normalize this even more. And this is not normal. This should not be happening in the United States of America or anywhere. These college students should be able to safely go to their dormitories, safely go to their residence, and not have to, run out to the edges of a peninsula against the ocean because there's a threat to their safety. So I know I obviously am ranting a little bit. I don't know what the answer is here, but this is the kind of response that has to happen. It's totally clear. And on the other hand, these students have now had a traumatic first month of school.
I know it is traumatic when you watch this play out live like this and hearing those students and that one student, probably freshman there living in the residence hall for the first time, and she's shaking.
Yeah, she said that guns were drawn.
We like to refer to them as young adults.
Yeah,
but they're young. Some of them are 17. Yeah. Some of them are 18. Some of them have never been away from home. I mean, there's all of that goes along with it, and as a parent, I certainly have. I can. We asked about the parents. I can certainly relate to parents watching this now. But you also have the teachers and the staff, and people for the first time, young adults, 17, 18, 19-year-olds away from home for the first time, and the first thing they have to do in the first month is shelter in place. It's horrendous.
All right, Sue O'Connell, thank you so much. As you were watching live right there on the UMass Boston campus, we are seeing students re-enter the building after given that all clear from police. We want to go back out to our Amelia Fabiano, who is there right outside the residence hall. Amelia, this is the welcome news we have been waiting for like the last hour or so.
Yeah, and we heard that moment when Boston police gave students that all clear to head back. They literally came over here and yelled, "You guys can go back in to the residence building here." Sorry, I'm trying to move away from this person who's yelling here so you can hear what I'm trying to say. Important information, of course. And we have students who are literally on the phone with their parents right now saying, "Mom, I'm okay. Everything's okay. I'm literally allowed back into the residence hall right now." And you're watching them live go back in. I'm seeing a lot of frustration among these students too. As Sue said, this is likely a traumatic experience for them. This was, many of them just moved in 2 weeks ago to this residence hall. Some of them are freshmen, and this is their experience, not even 2 weeks into the school year. So they're frustrated. They're confused why they don't know more about what's going on. Of course, police have their methods with that, and I think sometimes in the panic of the moment and the chaos of the moment, that can be difficult to understand. But some students frustrated, students shaking literally still. Some of them saying they had guns pointed at them as they were trying to leave their residence hall, and now an hour later they are being allowed to go back in. So definitely a very intense response for them, and a very confusing one too. Of course, we're working to get any information we can on what exactly happened to prompt this response, and how they were able to lift it. They said there's no longer a security threat here, and all of these students have been given the all clear to go back into their building here at the UMass Boston campus. You can see Residence Hall East here, right in the middle of this shot, where police have been investigating for the past hour and a half or so, but students now actively going back inside. I'll send things back to the studio, and if we learn anything more out here on the ground about what happened, what's going on, what the next steps are, I'll let you know. We do know classes, again, are canceled for tonight.
Yeah, Amelia, thank you. And again, we want to reiterate, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, that the all clear at the UMass Boston campus has been given. This is after a report of a shooting. It brought out a massive number of police officers and SWAT team members even.
And this happened on, as Amelia just said, these students moved in about 2 weeks ago onto campus at the residence hall. As we see police starting to disperse now after given the all clear. But again, these students just moved in. I mean, you're talking freshman year, moving in and having to evacuate after hearing reports of an unconfirmed shooting. Again, all classes and activities are canceled the rest of the day. But again, the good news is there is that all clear. Yeah,
that is the biggest headline for you tonight, is that the all clear has been given and no confirmation of gunfire was found. Again, the all clear has been given and no confirmation of gunfire has been found. All right, we are, just to reset for you, what we have been watching for about the last hour or so. It was around 3:45, 3:43 to be exact, earlier this afternoon, that officers assigned to the South Boston districts as well as the Dorchester districts of Boston, they responded to reports of unconfirmed shots fired in the area of the UMass Boston campus. It's just off of Morrissey Boulevard, there in between South Boston and Dorchester. Multiple units. a massive police response. They confirmed that they investigated the building, the dorm room there, and at this time, again, the all clear has been given. There has been no confirmation of shots fired. There has been no confirmation of any individuals with firearms on campus, but as you can see, it is still a very active scene in the evening commute as well on what is already a very, very busy part and street of Boston there with Morrissey Boulevard. So they're asking people, they're advising people to avoid that area until further notice.
And as you can imagine, this has been just a tense afternoon as we've been watching this all play out. As you see students there, probably reaching loved ones, friends, families, checking in on everybody. Again, given that all clear, so that is the good news. But when we watch this unfold, scary scenes of watching all of these students run into the parking lot. And something we were talking earlier with Sue is like, you remember in kindergarten, throughout, grade school, you practice these drills. You practice for the unimaginable, and to have them actually execute that is terrifying. As one of the students was talking about, she was still shaking as they're talking about, they have a group chat and, unconfirmed reports. Just a scary scene for these students as they're just starting the school year. But again, given that all clear, as you can still see, most of those streets around the UMass Boston campus are going to be closed. So you do want to avoid that area if you possibly can.
Yeah, thankfully, again, that the all clear has been given, but now it's going to shift into the traffic response as it is just about 5:30 here in the afternoon, and Morrissey Boulevard this time in the afternoon is already busy. It's going to be even more so right now. Again, the latest information that we have for parents of students or for students who might be watching is that classes and activities are canceled for the rest of the evening. Again, classes and activities are canceled for the rest of the afternoon as the campus once again is all clear.
And just, again, a stressful day as it is. All the events, what happened yesterday, Charlie Kirk, 9/11 today. I mean, it's just a heightened emotional day today. But as we see, students are able to head back to their residence hall. They were given the all clear just moments ago. But as you can imagine, they are probably still processing everything that they have been experiencing this last hour as we've been watching it unfold.
Yeah, and I think that you make a great point, Priscilla, that emotions are high today after what we saw yesterday in Utah, after what we saw in Colorado. Sue O'Connell pointed out that HBCU campuses also across the country went into lockdown today. So all across the country, our universities, the tension on our universities, the emotions on our universities with our young people, it is high right now. It is high, but again, at UMass Boston, just a few moments ago, they have been given the all clear after an unconfirmed report of a shooting on campus. It prompted a massive response from law enforcement, both there on the campus, from the city of Boston, from the state police. The SWAT also arrived there to keep the students and the staff and the faculty safe.
And the biggest thing is that nothing bad happened. I mean, they were given the all clear. UMass police, I mean, there were multiple agencies that came out today to assess the situation, and thankfully it was given the all clear. These were unconfirmed reports, but again, we have one of the best law enforcement in the country. They prepare for this again and again and again. As our Robert Goulston, our law enforcement reporter, was telling us earlier, that they have multiple protocols in place.
Yeah. And as Todd McGee, our security expert that we spoke with, was reminding everyone as well, for parents who are watching, that you just have to trust the process on something like this. And they did so, and as we can see now, the Boston police are reporting that the campus at UMass Boston is all clear. With that, it has been a busy hour here. We're going to switch gears. Let's head over to our Pete Bouchard, our chief meteorologist. He's got a check of our forecast. Pete.
What a beautiful day today. Temperatures in the middle 70s and upper 70s. We even made lower 80s from Portsmouth all the way into southern New Hampshire. Not necessarily Nashua, but we were close. My. These September days can really deliver. Unfortunately, Be nice if we got some rain at some point, right? The drought is expanding across northern New England. We've held steady. And this is kind of a disappointment. We had about 1 to 3 inches of rain, right? And we didn't even move the needle. That's how dry it's been across southern New England. We're still in moderate drought out through Cape Cod and Nantucket, but the severe drought now settling in the White Mountains. What's that going to do to the foliage? You know what it's going to do to the foliage. It's going to decimate the foliage across the Mount Washington Valley, unfortunately. High stress across our forests here in southern New England as well. So there's going to be a lot of leaf drop in northern New England. They did not get that rain that we saw in southern New England over the weekend. So unfortunately, the drought deepens. The sea breeze is taking over now. We've knocked it back quite a bit in Lynn and Hull. Scituate 69. You can see the extent of that sea breeze all the way to Wakefield and about to Woburn right now. 72, 77 in Lowell, not touched. Marlboro at 80 degrees. Hopkinton, well, I think it's a little bit warmer than 73, honestly. 77 in Bedford, 73, or 74 in Worcester. High pressure's with us. The cooler air is to the north. This slowly seeps down just enough to drop our temperatures for tomorrow, but it's really innocuous here, and it's not affiliated with any kind of rain shower activity, so I think we're good in that department. But 68 right now in Quebec City on the other side of the front, so we're in the 70s. And I think tomorrow we'll still be in the 70s, even though we do nudge it down. We're nudging it down from near 80 degrees today. It was the warmest day of the week. Look at that sunshine. There's tons of it in store for tomorrow. Temperatures in the 70s away from the coast, but upper 60s right along the water's edge and down through Cape Cod as well. Saturday's forecast brings us back into the 70s. Nudge in the temps just about everywhere. And again, a sea breeze day, but we're lower 70s from Lynn to Boston and through Plymouth, upper 70s back through Lowell and Natick, and even near Attleboro, too. The weekend forecast is not without its issues. A couple of showers and storms may pop up on Sunday, but now it seems like there are fewer of them on Sunday, so there's fewer sweating it out here, whether or not you're going to get tagged by a downpour. I think a few clouds around, a pop-up shower, a quick one, too, at that, and maybe a rumble of thunder if we can conjure up enough water vapor to pull this all together. This doesn't look like a huge deal, but there it is around 2 to 3 o'clock, especially on the South Shore and down through Cape Cod. That's a 40% chance. That's down from near 60% yesterday, so that's dropping. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, resume that beautiful stretch of weather. You can see it here in the extended forecast as we go through those mid-70s next week and another bump in temps by Wednesday and Thursday. There might be a collection of clouds on Thursday and Friday. I was tempted to put in a shower there, but I think we'll be good all the way through next weekend. We are back after the break.